They told us it was random. A lone shooter. A tragedy. Closed, wrapped, explained. But then Candace Owens pointed her finger. Not at the suspect. Not at the weapon, but at Donald Trump himself. In 48 hours, the story that started as an open and shut murder became something darker. 5 investigators, 5 voices, from journalists to ex-FBI snipers, each trying to connect the fragments. Was Charlie Kirk's death a political accident or a message? Tonight, we trace how a bullet, a boulevard, and a billion-dollar movement collided in one impossible question. Who killed Charlie Kirk? The Ground Zero investigation. Mario Knopfel and Stephen Gardner. It began with 2 men who refused to analyze the scene from behind a keyboard. Mario Knopfel and Stephen Gardner went there, the exact spot where Charlie Kirk fell. What they found shattered weeks of online theories. The area wasn't flat, like everyone thought from Google Earth. It was a bowl, a sunken amphitheater. The roof the shooter used wasn't far. It was close, elevated, and perfectly aligned with the angle of the wound. On the rooftop, they found handprints in the dust. Next to them, a 36-inch scrape, the exact length of a .30-06 rifle barrel. Evidence that the weapon had rested there. That someone aimed, fired, and left. Theories of a microphone explosion or back-of-the-head shot fell apart under simple forensics. There were no burns, no exit wound, no shattered mic components. Cell phone pings placed Tyler Robinson, the suspect, on the roof that night. Video footage tracked his movement across 3 angles. Discord chat logs traced his digital trail before and after the event. Every pixel of data stitched into one overwhelming conclusion. The shooter was real. The weapon was real. The death was real. And yet, the disbelief wouldn't die. Because the story wasn't just forensic, it was political. The spark, Steven Crowder. Then came Candace Owens. 2 sentences lit a firestorm. They gave him a boulevard. They always do. When they give you a boulevard and a holiday, they've killed you. That's their signature. To her followers, it sounded prophetic. To her critics, insane. She claimed that just 48 hours before his death, Charlie Kirk told Turning Point staff, Jewish donors, and a rabbi, he would abandon the pro-Israel stance. He was tired of being bullied, she said. He wanted to bring Candace back, to reunite on stage. And before that reunion could happen, he was dead. Steven Crowder reacted live. His tone was ice. Outrageous claims require outrageous evidence. Candace has none. He called it an act of evil or stupidity, because her words didn't just wound reputations. They pointed a gun at the widow, Erica Kirk. Crowder laid out the stakes. If Candace was right, Erica was complicit. If Candace was wrong, she'd crossed the Rubicon, turning grief into performance. The right fractured overnight. Forums exploded, channels divided. One question echoed louder than the facts. Who do you believe, the loyalist or the whistleblower? Then came a calmer voice, Viva Frey. A lawyer, a skeptic, and one of the few trying to stay in the middle. 2 things can be true, he said. Charlie might have felt pressure, and a lone, unstable shooter might have acted on his own. He admitted Kirk had questioned blind loyalty toward Israel. That could have angered donors, sure. But frustration doesn't equal assassination. Fry dismantled viral claims, the exploding lapel mic, the fake blood, the Mossad connection. He reminded viewers that distrust isn't evidence. Speculation fills the gaps until it replaces truth entirely. Then the internet did what it does best. It hunted someone. A photographer named Andrew Piscadlo, a man with a prosthetic arm, was wrongly accused of being the shooter. He was just there with a camera. But hysteria doesn't care for context. Fry interviewed him. The man's story, a life shattered by misidentification, became proof of a darker reality. In the war for clicks, the innocent are the first casualties. Heavy-duty country. Not everyone trusted the system. A YouTuber known as Heavy Duty Country tore into the investigation itself. Why'd, he asked, would the FBI test a towel and a screwdriver for DNA, but not the gun? Why were autopsy photos hidden? Why was there no full-angle footage of the shot? He wasn't buying conspiracies about fake bullets, but he wasn't swallowing the official story either. He said what many thought. Social media turned Charlie's death into a battleground. Everyone wants to be the first to solve it. No one wants to be right. He warned about radicalization, how algorithmic outrage makes murder profitable. Still, his final message was simple. Ask questions, but don't sell answers you can't prove. Mike Ritland. Finally, an unexpected voice. Mike Ritland, a former FBI sniper. Calm, deliberate, decades of field work behind his tongue. He said something that froze the internet. I wasn't there, but I know how we work. And if this was one of ours, we have proof, or silence. He touted some footage too. The awkward gun handling, the clean getaway. But he warned, nothing you see online can be taken at face value. Every frame is filtered through panic and politics. He defended his former colleagues. People blame the FBI, but agents don't write headlines. They chase evidence. Ritland admitted the Bureau's secrecy fuels suspicion, but he reminded viewers, the courtroom is where proof lives, not Twitter threads. His closing line carried the weight of experience. You can hate the system, just don't replace it with chaos. 5 voices. 5 different Americas. The investigator who trusts forensics. The commentator who blames betrayal. The lawyer who preaches balance. The outlaw demanding answers. The sniper defending order. Each convinced they're protecting the truth. Each certain they're right. But in the noise, truth bleeds out quietly. Until every frame, every file, and every bullet is released, Charlie Kirk's death won't just be a mystery. It will be a mirror, reflecting who we've become when facts aren't enough anymore.